Hi, welcome back to Chasing Me podcast.
Hi, welcome back.
So this week we want to talk about gratitude.
Yeah, so gratitude. Wait, right?
Gratitude, yeah.
Gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude. So what would you say? I know, I'm making you start. You made me start last week.
Oh, fair. Okay.
I know. So what would you say is something that you're either the most thankful for right now or like that you feel like you have gratitude towards?
I'm really thankful about, and I think the recent layoffs at my company that I spoke about last week or a couple weeks ago was it does kind of put you into perspective of what, how good you might have something when you realize that it's like gone and like within 24 hours, like half or like not half, a big part or a chunk of our company was like gone. And like they woke up thinking they had a job and then they realized they didn't.
Yeah.
And, at that point you potentially have kids, you have mortgages, you have these responsibilities that kind of maybe going a little bit back to something I touched on previously as well. It's like, it's how you like set up your life and how, like, did you prepare for that? And like, I know a lot of people don't, it's hard in the moment not to like, or to think about those difficult situations and if or when they might come, and kind of rear their ugly head, but you kind of have to prepare for it. So again, I was very grateful after that moment that I was like, you know what? I'm very fortunate to still have my job, which is great. Cause like I just moved into my new place and I was like, oh, like if I would lose, I'm someone that like has prepared for something like that. And I know I would be okay financially to handle, not having that income, but I was very grateful in the moment to still have the opportunity to learn, still have the opportunity to connect with the people that that were still there at the business. Yeah, you forget. And just when I was driving over here too, like you get caught up in your mind of the day to day. And like, I'm coming over here, we're able to do this beautiful podcast for all of you. And on my way over here, the way I pull out of my garage, like I have to drive through the little alleyway. And there was someone like rummaging through the trash. Like we have recycling on Monday. So a lot of people have their trash bins out already today. Mm-hmm. And it just like in the moment of like me in my head being like, oh, I have to do these things, but I have so much other things I should be doing. And I was like, and I see him potentially like, or like, I just want to stay home. It's raining again. It's raining again. And I'm like, go figure. It's been raining like this for such a long time. I'm over it, but it's good for us. We need the rain. I'm like, I just want to stay home. This individual might not have a home to go to. And I thought that as I was like driving by him, he's like rummaging through our recycling bin. I was like, oh, Erica, stop. Like and like in those moments, it shouldn't take that for me to feel gratitude, but I had that. That's why I chose this topic. I was like, let's do that because it was the front and center of my mind. And so for me, gratitude in general right now just is like, I don't want to have those, or I don't want to have to experience those types of situations or see those types of situations to be thankful on a daily basis for the things that I have. Like we live sometimes so much in like being reminded that we should be grateful versus just being grateful throughout your day and like not complaining about things. And when you're having a bad day at work, like be thankful you have that job. Like be thankful. I don't know how much you're making, but like be thankful that you're probably, if you're living in LA, like you're hopefully making a decent amount, or like you're probably, it's hard to survive out here if you're not. And be thankful that you're at least making that. Like you're making something, you're making progress. You're, I can sit here and do this with you. Like how I should be the most grateful person ever. So that's my recent like encounter with gratitude, I think. Yeah. So that's my little spiel. What about you?
I love it.
How do you feel?
For me, I think that gratitude for me comes in waves. I think that when I try to reflect as often as I can, I try to meditate pretty consistently. And when I do meditate, it's not always about gratitude, but I think that it does inspire gratitude after I do it.
Is this your daily meditations that you do?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not so much daily right now, but yeah, when I do them daily, I'm always chasing that like best version of me, right? Which is the person that can wake up, meditate in the morning. I definitely fall asleep to a meditation, but it's a different type of meditation, right? At the end of the day, because like you're falling asleep into a dream versus like an intentional one where you're sitting up, you're like grounded to the floor, you're just like focused on either the guided meditation or whatever it is that you want. So I find that those help me stay pretty grateful throughout the day. Like then I'm inspired to write in my like journal that I have, and I'm always so grateful for my family despite, my own like feelings at times, right? Like it's never about them. It's always about me and my blockage. And the opportunities that I've been able to have the last few years, I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful that you want to like do this today. Like, trust me, I didn't want to do it again today either, but it's not so much about that, but it's like, oh, well, what else would I be doing? And I always try to give myself like might as well, like this is pushing you towards your goal. And I try to remind myself of our first conversation, right? Where I'm like so excited and like that person's like ready to do everything. But my problem is longevity. And I know this.
Oh, we talked about this.
Yeah. Like I'm
those
good
long
in short.
Goals, man. Those long goals.
I'm good in short increments. The long term is hard. So I'm trying to retrain my brain consistently in being grateful, in staying motivated, in maintaining a perspective that's kind of like what you said, where it's like, I don't want to look at something for it to happen. I want to just like continuously kind of be on this level of, I am grateful in these moments. I want to do these things versus I have to do them.
Yeah.
That always makes such a big difference, I think, in your attitude for the day, as well as your interactions with people, right?
Like taking what feels like forced energy into it and being like,
yeah,
I do want to do this. Like, I do want to take the time to chat with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I always do.
Shift,
I always appreciate it so much after. And I think that's the person, that's the gratitude, that's the like ideal version of what I can, if I can do that consistently, right? Then I know that there is a part of me that is like consistently happy and like I am grateful that I'm challenging myself even though it's a challenge.
Yeah. And this is a lot cheaper than therapy. So I told Alex that last night. I was like, you know what? I think it's just like my version of therapy.
We are each other's non like certified therapists.
I mean, you should be like borderline. So
I appreciate it, but no, I'm not.
I mean, you might be you're starting to become like very direct with people.
I am.
And yeah, but you're
sorry
just like
to everybody.
I think it's a great thing. I'm trying to learn more about that, but not to divulge from the topic, but
no, it's okay.
I love it. So yeah, definitely cheaper than therapy. And being grateful that, we get these opportunities is great.
Yeah. So I have a question. Like, how would you say that you're trying to maintain gratitude in your life? Or like maybe think of like future you. What do you see gratitude maybe looking like in your life?
See, I don't think it's something that is like visually, like you won't be able to visually see it. No one will be able to visually see it. Unless which unfortunately sometimes if it does come out, it'd be in a superficial, like giving back to charity or like, you know what I mean? I don't call it a superficial way, but like people all the time is like, oh, they just like, I don't know, like they don't see everything. Nobody sees everything that you do. Like,
Okay.
no, do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like they only see the surface level of like things that go on or what you present to the world. Talking about like social media and stuff. It's like people only see what you show them. So for me, I don't think there's anything that at this point I would be able to like display.
Okay.
Is that's kind
But
of
future
what
you,
you
would you want something to? It doesn't have to be a visual thing,
gratitude?
but maybe it's
Yeah.
like you personally want to do something in your future that like either shows gratitude to other people and or your friends and family and or maybe your work environment. I know it's a strange question.
No, it honestly, like, there's always times that, because like I feel like my parents gave me so much growing up in terms of like teaching me work ethic and showing me what a good like partnership looks like. We talked about this last night too. It's like one of our friends is getting married and one is married already, and we're talking about like the dynamics between husband and wife. And I think my parents have shown me what a good relationship looks like. Yeah, of course. They like, it's never perfect. And I'm not saying that they're perfect. They're far from perfect. Sorry guys. But as a child, like as an adult now, I can see what they did for me and really, really appreciate that. So, I mean, there's nothing I could give them that I don't think would encompass all the like gratitude I probably have for them.
Okay.
But maybe I'll find something.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
It's a good thought.
But all I can do right now is spend time with them. Like,
yeah.
I just need to spend more and more time with them, talk to them. Cause like I'm in California, they're in Kansas. So it's like, they don't get to see me. And I can't imagine like as a parent, how hard, like if you are close to your kids, like them being halfway across the country, like I try to put that in perspective. And when I go home, like spending an extra week at home in Kansas, because again, I'm fortunate with my job, like we can work remotely for parts of time, and I'll work remotely one week and then I'll take a week off. So yeah, that's currently how I'm showing gratitude, or like, you know, just quality time with people, you know. For me, I think that's right now it's quality time. In the future, I mean, if I had, honestly, I think if I would start to accumulate like wealth in a way that like money or something like that, which I don't mean to make things always about money, but like I actually predict I would spend it more on other people than I would myself. Cause I think giving people the world, like it's such a fun thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I would take you on trips. Like, let's go on trips together.
We take each other on trips. I know. It'd be fun. I love it. I
got this month's trip. You get next month's trip. Sorry. Anyways, I think that would be my gratitude kind of maybe future.
Okay.
But right now it's definitely just the quality time I give people, and like really give quality time.
Yeah, it's very important.
Not surface level time.
Yeah. I love that.
What about you? I'm going to throw that back at you real quick. What does your gratitude future self look like?
Yeah, so I think I have a big goal for gratitude in my future. It's either some sort of like nonprofit and or charity and or something. Now, what does that look like? I don't know. These are the current thoughts. These are the inner makings of what I would like for my future to like have in it, to have something that's still with my theme of like working with friends, being able to bring them on and like we all can do this together. And like some of the best things that you can do is like, I think we talked about this, the like mission trips or like things that you did on like for school or high school.
Yeah.
So I think like those types of things are really fun because you still hang out with your friends, you're still giving back, and you're still like helping people. So like doing something along those lines, I feel like would be a great way to, one, get to know your community, a new community, and then help them, as well as like build new friends and connections. And like, it's everything that I think I would want. I just don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But I think that that would be my version of gratitude for all the things that I was able to like do to get there. Because I know that it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of like resources. Like you have to make a lot of connections.
It's funny how like money is something that you feel we need to make an impact. Like that big of like a true impact.
I want it to be like the 1% of charity. Like I don't even want it to be
1% like billionaire 1%?
No,
like,
okay. The opposite. And so 99%, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But
the majority of small nonprofits.
Yeah, so it doesn't. Okay. I don't want it to be like crazy big. I don't need fame or recognition or like anything like that from it. I want it to be more just like, I think mentioned. I follow a lot of YouTube people who travel, who do give back, who just do it in such a fun way that I'm like, wow, like they still do it with their community. That's something I do want to replicate in my life somehow. And it's just so like you partner either with somebody who actually does want to like run the charity itself, or like you're part of like the consulting team. I don't really know exactly how it's going to look like. Maybe I don't even want to own it myself. Who knows? But I just think having that as like a goal of sorts will allow me to maintain gratitude for the process to get there.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a great goal. It giving back in those ways. And when you're talking, it sparked a thought of mine, which I've said to people before, but it kind of goes back to that, like giving other people like their like things that they've wanted. And I think about it from like a startup perspective. Like I would invest in or give money to startups that, you know, like the majority of people would like disregard potentially, and like giving those opportunities to either female founders or like other, like, you know, any kind of founder who's just like unrepresented, and that, because startups, it's a big world. There's so many, there's just like, you get lost in the shuffle. Like, I don't know. I think that'd be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah. And it's something you're very passionate about. Yeah. So I think that is definitely,
it's like giving opportunity to people. Because there's times where it's like, not that no one like gave the opportunity to me, like, because like I didn't do a lot of like pitch competitions. I wasn't there yet. So yeah, I just think it eases the pain a little bit more. So,
and it builds, like, you have experience. You can also like mentor them or lead them depending on how you want to give back, right? It could come with that, like, hey, like I might invest or like that, but maybe I'm going to also want to just be a part of the brainstorming stage or whatever stage it is that you personally have a lot of experience in, that you can provide that feedback that they might need.
I think mentoring is something that is very unique. And I was actually talking to Julie about this last night. We were talking about kids, and I was like, you know, it'd be really cool to like teach someone something. And like, I probably have, like, and I haven't realized it, like just by, you know, there's a chance in the first whatever episodes I've taught someone something that they didn't know, you know. I will never see that, but I think it's really cool to see I don't call it the fruits of your labor, but like the progression of someone. I think that is like the coolest thing to see, or like the influence you might have had on them, hopefully positive. But I think that'd be what is like, would frighten me. It's like, it's cool to think about mentorship and giving back in that way. But then it also, could be a double-edged sword, because like you are influencing them. So hopefully your message is
received in the way that your intentioned
or like is right or good, or like, I don't know.
I think it's
like so much pressure.
I think it is always going to be a little hard, right, when you do mentor, because people can take things the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
And they might feel discouraged, even though your intention is to encourage them.
Yeah.
But with anything, even with mentorship, right, it's really at the end of the day, like your giving your lessons learned for them to try to avoid?
My English teacher in high school had this poster above her like whiteboard or chalkboard. I forget if it was chalk or whiteboard by that time of age, but it said, learn, or how did, I'm gonna botch this really bad, but learn from others' mistakes. You don't have enough time in the day to make them all yourself, or something along that line.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
I always loved that quote. So I think that's what I love learning is that like, what did you do wrong? I'm going to avoid that. And like, or like and it might be like they did something wrong, but it was like slightly just maybe not correct for that time and that place is what I'm learning for startups specifically. It has a lot to do with environment, but they're still learning in there. There's still a learning of like the environment they either did something in or who they're contacting, their industry, their market, their blah, 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 blah. But it's like, okay, maybe I don't attack it exactly like they did. Obviously it didn't work, but I shift it a little bit towards my industry and give it another try. It's like, cause it might work, you never know. But I think that's very important is to learn from the mistakes of others. And yeah, like as a mentor, it's like, maybe it's not, teaching them all my wisdom, but it's, teaching them the things to avoid.
Yeah.
So,
and also to consider, right? They only know what they know, and your perspective and anyone's perspective, really, when you're making big pivots within any startup or career advice or life, it could go as small as your day to day to as big as a startup, right? But any choice that you make does have those consequences of, have you considered this? And that's up to them to take that consideration into like their, hey, like this makes sense to me. I'm willing to take the risk of whatever this choice is or not. And that's always something that's so hard to teach in my mind, because clearly I'm a manager currently in my roles, and mine is not about startups or anything as large, but everyone's day to day and thinking, I'm trying to at least give perspective of like how, like we need to consider all of this because we want to try and do our best to give it all up front, right? And like gain a perspective. And even if we're asked for more information on top of that, at least we've provided everything that we could possibly think of. And now we're taking on a new thought versus, oh, I'm like being like, if you handed in an assignment, right, and you knew, well, they probably are going to ask for that, and that, but I won't do it until they ask for it. Instead, I try to teach, and I'm like, no, we're going to do everything that we possibly can. We're going to turn it in, and then if there's anything new, it's because we haven't thought of it. So we're learning something else, and we're taking that learned lesson, and then we can move forward and continue to add to it.
Yeah. It's stacking. I love this idea of like stacking habits. I think there's a book called Atomic Habits that plays on this. And like it's like stacking, I don't call it responsibilities, but just stacking those habits of like providing more value with each and everything you do, like more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And you learn that. It takes time, but you learn that.
Yeah, it's also nice not to be asked for things that you already know are coming, right? I feel like there's like this dissatisfaction of like, oh, well, I should have, like, why did they ask for that? Like, you kind of knew it was coming, so, but you just didn't want to do it in that moment. Or I don't know how to explain this in day-to-day life, but it makes sense for me in my specific role that I play, and or in any role. I always try to think like 5 steps ahead of the person that's asking for things.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish what you were saying. I was trying to make a real life like
correlation.
Maybe, and this might be it. After I say it, it might not. But
okay,
it's like when you say I like meal prepped and I like took my lunch to work and then I brought it home. But say like we were roommates. You do, but you usually do the. I don't know. Okay, so say I'm a husband and wife. I'm the wife. Husband comes home. I've already like meal prepped everything or like helped him. He goes and he brings his Tupperware containers and puts them by side the sink.
Got it.
not rinsed off and put in the dishwasher.
It is true. Yeah.
It's like, maybe this is a good example. It's like, you're almost there. You're almost there. It's like, why? It literally would take 2 more seconds.
It's true. That's a good.
It just ends up in an argument later. Not an argument, but it ends up in like a, hey babe, like, why didn't you put, like, come on. And that's like,
someone's got to do it.
So that's my real life example.
I would say yes. And if you're by yourself, I would say it's like your own future problem self, right? Like, you're like, why you'd be mad at yourself for not doing it in that moment and letting everything build up when, if you just did it, it would have taken what? Like an extra, 5 minutes.
Doesn't take long.
So yeah, it's trying to teach that is hard, or mentor it. That's where we were going with this, right? Like that's like my one mentorship lesson that I always I'm like, analyze the situation and think of every possible way that you personally want to present this data. And then from there, if there's feedback, it's because you haven't thought of it, and you should then always continue to think of it.
Yeah. Like, add it on. Add it to your little pocket of, every time I present data, I'm going to make sure I have this line item for finance guy, because he always asks for it.
Yeah.
And I look like I didn't do my job in the meetings. Yeah.
Or that you weren't paying attention any other time somebody's giving you feedback. No one wants to repeat themselves.
No, it's not fun.
It's not.
Do your dishes. I don't want to repeat myself. Yeah.
Same thing. In life,
same thing.
In work, in anything. No one wants to say it more than once.
No. It's frustrating when you have to repeat the same thing. Oh, but people have to me.
That's the only way I learn. What are you talking about?
I know.
My parents, I'm sure, my dad for sure could probably be like, yeah, this girl didn't listen to me at all.
Oh, yeah.
But
the things our parents probably could say. Yeah.
I'm sure they still love us.
But they still love us. And I have so much gratitude for them. I have gratitude for you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That was a nice circle back.
Yeah. We, again, trying to live it out versus having to react to it and feel that you should be should have gratitude. I think, Next steps.
I mean, I think that at the end of the day, the next steps for me is always just to try and do the now for today for the future of me. It's hard for me to maintain that perspective throughout every single day, but I'm like, I'm doing this now, and it might be hard now, but like, future me is going to be so happy because it's going to make her life better. A lot of people will say like, oh, well, that's future blah, blah, blah's problem, right? Like, and it's a bad problem. They're putting things off. I'm trying to switch that narrative in my mind and be like, oh, this is going to be great for me in the future.
Yeah.
So let's do it now.
Look at it. Good way to look at it.
Thanks. That just came to me, actually.
I like it.
Making realizations on this podcast.
There's a book about that, but I won't go into that. I just had a thought that we should do like a book episode.
Okay. Does that mean I have to read a full book for this episode?
I mean, no. I won't know if you read it or not. You can come with all your insights.
My own personal insights to the book I haven't read?
You would need
what
to
book
read
is it? What book do we want to do?
No, like we present our own option. Like we don't have to read the same book. I'm saying.
Oh, it's not a book club. I understand.
No.
Okay.
There's a couple of books in mind that have recently has helped previously about what you're talking about, and then or what you were just talking about like future selves, and helping them out. But then also one I'm reading now, which is it's enlightening. I've only read the intro in the first chapter, and it's enlightened to me so much. So. Anyways, that's beside the book. I think it's called Rising Above or Rising something.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go into it, but I think it would be an interesting episode because it's so relative to
chasing
vulnerability in that chase. So yeah, stay tuned.
Nice.
But yes, so I think we're both grateful. We could probably show more gratitude in our lives is what we're realizing, but
we have big plans to show gratitude in a bigger way in the future.
Yeah.
So
we'll work towards it. So yeah,
stay tuned, listen in. Maybe you'll see the progress unfold. We appreciate you listening.
Over the years, hopefully this continues.
I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
We appreciate you listening. And you can find us
on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and then obviously Instagram and TikTok. So we'll be posting every week. So hopefully we don't disappoint ever on a week. But yeah, we're going to do our best. So we'll talk to you soon.
Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.